Well, got another video review. This one's from a company called MANRAM, and I'm going to be reviewing the Grommet Tool Kit. But if you've heard me talk about this company in the past, you've probably seen me do the review on this nut and bolt checker from MANRAM as well. And I've used this thing a lot over the last year or two. Just like you see in the ones at Home Depot where you can check the nuts and the bolts and find the right size and all that. They got standard metric. If you're interested in it, check out my other video. It'll play at the very end of this one. So just click on it when it pops up if you're interested. And anyways, we're gonna set that aside and we're gonna focus today's video on the Grommet Tool Kit. And I'm gonna show you how to put, some grommets in a tarp. And you can also use it for, fabric or leather, just whatever, wherever you need a grommet. And it comes with like 300 grommets of the silver color and the gold color. So it's got all the tools that you'll need right here in this one little kit. And so I'm gonna show you how to use it today. So stay tuned. I got to give it to them on the presentation on the box. It looks like really nice packaging. So if you are giving it as a gift, that is nice. And then it seems like every time you open one of the packages, they've got a QR code for you to scan. And it says get a pair of work gloves, a free pair. So anyways, then you got your instruction sheet here showing you how to use the tool. Got a nice protective case for the grommet kit. So that's just neat that you can keep it all in one place so you don't lose nothing. So this is pretty much just a run-of-the-mill fabric case. It's got a handle with a little rubber handle grip on it. And then you've got your two zippers. So I'm gonna just go ahead and not waste a whole lot of time on this and just go ahead and get everything out for you. But as you can see, you've got silver grommets on this side and the gold on this side, and then all your tools are going to be up here in the top. And so you got a zipper to get everything out, and there's the tools itself. And then you've got a punch right there, and then you've got a plastic platform, so when you go to punch stuff out, you don't have to ruin your work surface. It can ruin this piece of plastic instead of the top of whatever where you're working at. And then like I said, you got all your grommets, and then that's it. And so if you're wondering why you've got 4 packs here and 2 of them are real small and 2 of them are bigger, well, these here are just the smaller pack is just like the washer part of the grommet, because there's 2 pieces to a grommet, where this larger pack is the thicker piece. What you're going to do is just pretty much sandwich them together and compress them together with this tool. And I'll show you more up close on how to use it here in just a second. I've never used one before, and so I've been wanting one for a while, just simply because you guys are just like me. If you need a tarp, you always know to go to Harbor Freight, because they got the cheapest tarps. And it seems like when you get one of these little free tarps from Harbor Freight, if you got a coupon or whatever, they do have some grommets on them, but they're spaced far apart and they're never where you need the grommet to be. So I thought, well, that's usually the fail point on these little cheap tarps, because they're actually pretty decent tarps, but it's like the grommet pulls out, or it's not where it needs to be, and then you put too much stress on the bungee cord to hook it to it, and it just rips out. So I thought, well, if I can put my own grommet in there where it needs to be, then it should last a lot longer. So anyways, so the way that we're going to start out doing this is very simple. I've got a blue tarp here. What I'm going to do is take this little protective piece of plastic, and let's say I want to put another grommet right here. I would take and slide that piece of plastic under that first layer. Let's say I want to put the grommet there. I could take and I could put the punch right there and hit it with a hammer, and if I was doing leather. And you can even use it on this, but I think truthfully the best way to do it would just be to find where you want it, and then on it like a real thin tarp like this to keep it from fraying, then I would just heat the end of this punch up. That would keep it from unraveling. But like I said, if you're wanting to do a piece of leather, then I would definitely use the hammer and the punch. It would definitely cut through there a lot better. And I hope I got this thing hot enough to go through the tarp. It should be. But anyways, let's just try it out and see. Just going to take and twist it, and hopefully that, yeah, it did. Oh, but one little piece right there. Should have left it just a little bit longer. But yeah, you can see it poked a good enough hole through it. You know, nice clean hole. I should be able to just tear it off. That right there, that's a nice clean hole. And it didn't hurt the tarp up underneath it because it was being pressed down on that. Alright, so I went ahead and got the tool. You can see it's got a little keeper here at the bottom to keep it compressed. So if it's in your toolbox, it's not taking up a bunch of extra room. And like I said, you've got two different pieces to this grommet. You got a flat piece right here. And what you want is to take, you've got two surfaces on this little flat washer. And I'm going to try to zoom the camera in where you can see a little bit better. You got a smooth side. And then on the other side, you got the rough side where it's kind of rough, where the two edges point up. And you want to take the rough side facing upward, and you want to slide it onto this portion of the tool, not where it's long right here, but the short side. You just want to lay it in there. And it's got a magnet in there that holds it so it's not going to just fall out real easy on you. Then you're going to take the other part of the grommet, and you can see that this is the thicker portion of the grommet. And on this side of the tool, you can see that it's got a little raised area right in there. You just want to slide it in place, and it's magnetic as well. And you can see that I'm turning it over and over, and it's not falling out or any of that. But what you want to do next, you're going to take that hole that you made and line it up. And once you get it lined up, you just want to take and you want to compress it with your hands. You're going to have to squeeze it real good. And then once you squeeze it, then voila. You got a nice grommet, and it's compressed on both sides. You can see that it's nice and tight up against the tarp, and it made a good compression there on that grommet. You can see right in there. And so now you're finished. You can take and put a bungee cord in there and, you know, secure it with zip ties or whatever you normally use, rope, and it's just as good of a grommet as the factory ones. And it didn't take but just a second to do. So if you're wondering what size the grommet is, it's a 10 millimeter. The hole is there. And so, you know, the thing was really easy to operate. It only took just a second or two to put the grommet in there. You know, if I didn't have to video and show you guys, you know, I could literally put that in just a few seconds. And, you know, like I said, they give you 300 of the gold and then 300 of the silver. That's a lot of grommets. I mean, that's probably more than I'll use in my lifetime. But when you need them, it'll come in handy and you'll have extra. And then, you know, if you need to buy more of these, you can always buy more. They're cheap on Amazon. And, you know, I found some the other day at a discount store for like $1 for a huge pack of them. I just happened to run into them and I grabbed them and I thought, well, I got all these grommets and I don't even have a grommet gun. And then I seen this one from MANRAM, so it just worked out perfect. And like I said, you can use them on pretty much just any kind of, whether it be fabric, you know, like a canvas bag or something. That would be good to put a grommet in, or, you know, leather. You can use it for leather. You know, like I said, if you was gonna punch leather, then you obviously would use your tool, then your punch, and then, you know, hit it with a hammer, and then the leather pieces will come up through this punch, and then you can take something in like a little screwdriver and push the little leather pieces out, and that way they don't get clogged up in the punch there. But you've seen, I was able just to light the end of it and get it hot enough where it'll burn through that little cheap tarp, a little free Harbor Freight tarp, and not cause it to unravel. And so very easy. So anyways, if you're needing some, you know, tools, check out what they got. You know, they got a little bit of everything on their website, and I'm sure they got something for you. And I'll put all the information down in the description. And until next time, guys, thanks for watching. If you would, please like and subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to get to 10,000 subscribers. It really just helps my videos get out there to more people. And you guys know I give an honest review. Don't try to sugarcoat nothing for nobody. I've got a video coming up with a heater that it was a total piece of trash. And you know, I don't mind telling how it is. So anyways, I hope that would earn your subscription. So until the meantime, thanks for watching. See ya.